I ain't got no real estate or a condo up in heaven. Might not even be allowed inside on account of my transgressions. But now as my acuity fades and my ankles start to swell, it's starting to occur to me that I may be bound for hell. I've done so wrong without a care. Daddy made me a millionaire, but now I'm worried. Can't you tell that I got a one-way ticket straight to hell? Could I pay you to take my place? Lend me your halo, harp and wings. I'm asking nicely, should get some credit. Normally I just take them and do my thing. One way or another to get upstairs, even if it's up the gold escalator. I'm sure there's been worse than little old me. I'm just a good guy with lots of haters. I've done so wrong without a care. Daddy made me a millionaire, but now I'm worried. Can't you tell that I got a one-way ticket straight to hell? Sex assault, he said, she said, fudging numbers to get ahead, ignoring science, had fun instead. Bad decisions got people dead. I've done so wrong without a care. Daddy made me a millionaire, but now I'm worried. Can't you tell that I don't one-way ticket straight to hell?
Really hate that.
That's cathartic. You sent that video to me a couple of nights ago, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
I did.
I didn't think you would use it on the show
today. I sent him a note saying that we wanted to post it on the Taco Tuesday show. The lighting looks strange on me. If it was okay, and if not, let us know. And I didn't hear back, so I'm assuming it was okay for us to post it.
I hope so.
Ooh, I feel so. I need to blend. Maybe I need to blend. I don't know.
Oh,
I know. It's my new hair color.
Well,
anyway,
lovely. You look
thank you. Yes, I got rid of the before I go on my trip to Guatemala tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be exploring healthy Guatemala. I'll be hanging out with the Mayan people, learning about health and healing.
I can't wait to see your videos.
It's been insane over here in my house. I know
it has.
Looks like an atomic bomb exploded because I had a lot of prescriptions I had to write, a lot of herbal prescriptions. And then I didn't have anybody here to intake the boxes coming in because you're not here anymore. So I was having to do my own ripping them open and bottling, and it was just like, and then
I remember
it was just bad.
used to have me doing that here
I
in Los Angeles.
I wish you could come and do this
I
for
used
me.
to enjoy it with you.
I need somebody to come and fill my labels and fill the
Hmm.
stack and clean and organize the shelves and
Oh yeah, I remember all of that. We would get these big boxes of bulk herbs, and my job was to break them apart, put them in the jars, make the labels, then alphabeticalize everything.
I need
Yeah,
help because now
yeah.
I added another 50 herbs, mostly Chinese
50?
herbals.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I expanded to the Vedic herbs. I started with Western herbology, which is
Hmm.
quite rich. It's really quite lovely, the Western, and then I moved on to the Vedic and the Vedas. And part of that is doing people's Vedic charts, where now
Yes,
I do your astrological chart, and then that will tell me what some of your health challenges are.
it's quite
People figured this
exciting.
well, people figured this stuff out thousands of years ago. And
Hmm.
then I took several years of TCM, Chinese medicine, and now I just want to strengthen my knowledge of the Chinese herbs. So I brought those in. So I have the Western, I have the
Yeah,
when you were working with me, I had maybe 50 to 75 herbs,
I would say that's about right.
but now I have 450.
Oh my God, if I were there, you would be working me hard, wouldn't you?
Yes, because it's looking pretty nuts. It's looking pretty god
Maybe I need to fly
over
up
there.
there and just work for you for a few days and get all this together.
Once you get over that whole cat sitting thing, I think that that would be awesome. But, right now it's just absolutely crazy. I
Hmm.
could probably post for people here, but
Hmm.
yeah. So how are you? What have you been up to? I know
Oh,
you've
I've been
been
pretty busy myself. I've been doing a number of readings for people. I'm working on a commissioned painting right now. I'm working on designing my own set of oracle cards. I hope to
I think
also
that's
design some
amazing.
tarot cards. It's a big project. In my naivete, I thought I could do it in 6 months. It's going to be more like a year to a year and a half. And I haven't even started on the tarot deck yet, but I'm working on oracle cards. And when I have it completed, I'll announce it on here. I'm very proud of it, what I've done so far.
So here are the new herbs coming in. Can you guys see that? So
Yeah.
everything up here that had to be filled, and I've got boxes underneath the guitar. I've got bags that you can't see, and I'm just
Oh.
ripping them open and trying to get everything filled as much as possible. Um, in you know,
Hmm.
it's my bliss. If you're stuck working 16 hours a day doing this, then you have nobody to complain to because this is heaven on earth.
Yeah.
We work so hard to become doctors so that we can live this life. You can see
Hmm.
my guitar is open. I just think this picture is I just took this picture now, but that's my life. It's me,
Yeah.
my guitar, my cat is somewhere around here.
It's like my Sasha. It's heaven, isn't it,
Yeah, but
Whimsy?
you can
It's our
see the
personal heaven.
chaos, and there's some celery back there. I
It's
just put some
joyous chaos.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
up on the top there, you can see I have some ginger growing in that pot up there.
mm,
The big
I
herbs,
see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
the big herbs to the left, those big jars. Those are my mixed herbals that I get a lot of requests for, like my immunologicals,
Yeah.
my immunosupportive, green tea. Green tea is tonifying. It's polyphenols.
Yeah.
It's rich in polyphenols. It's used for cancer
Hmm.
prevention, appetite
Metabolism.
suppression. Yeah,
Yeah.
metabolism. So particularly in my adrenal fatigue patients, so that you can see I've gone halfway through that just this week, and that
Hmm.
was filled with uh, gunpowder, which is a really strong green tea, and I use that.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, it's called gunpowder. It's really concentrated, and I will put in a 2 month supply. I will put 2 tablespoons in a 2 month supply, so it gets
Mm.
spread out, so the person doesn't get insomnia or anything like that, but they get
Yeah.
a little bit of a stimulant. So yeah, I'm using that quite a bit. And under that, I have my
Mm.
immunosupportive teas down here, and these are used for things like COVID. When we had that COVID scare, I was pretty.
Hmm.
Oh, I think that was before I think that I left afterwards.
You did, because as I recall, you moved there in the fall of 2020. And of course that was during the period of COVID lockdown.
Yeah, I think was it 2020 or 2021? I can't remember, but August of
Yeah.
2021, I think is when. So I'm
Yeah.
just coming up on my anniversary, and you have a week off. You don't have to work. You get to take a week off. I know you'll still work.
Oh, I'll be working. I promise you that.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so we start season 4.
Yeah.
This is the last show of season 3. This is our 40th show of season. I was so busy I didn't get you show notes today, so we're winging it.
Oh, we're winging it today. We are really
Which has
winging it
never
today.
happened. Which has never happened in 3 years that I
Well,
haven't
that's
gotten show
okay.
notes.
Let's just see where it goes. Let's see where we are guided. And I find many times we can just count on our wonderful viewers with their comments and questions, and we can just take the lead from there. There was one comment here. Oh, it just disappeared. Oh, yes, it was Runel Wellen. I hope I said that correctly. Whimsy, you look so pretty. I love the hair. Makes you look vibrant and healthy. Oh, you just pulled it up.
Oh,
See,
thank you.
I've been telling you how good you look. I said before the show, this wonderful Dr. Whimsy diet you're on right now, you're the best walking advertisement for it. Look at you. People can see the results.
I've lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, and it shows in your face.
Yeah, it's well, I got lazy, and I wasn't taking very good care of myself for a couple of years, and then I kind of, if you've got enough cognition still left, okay, I've got to the one thing I can take control of is what am I putting in my mouth. If you change that up, then everything else snowballs. And then you go, okay, maybe I'll do some supplements. Then you start to feel better. It's like, I think I'm going to clean my house.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what I have to do when I look at those herbs over there. So it snowballs. You start with the most basic act of taking care of yourself, which is what you put in your body.
It's self-love.
How are you doing on your diet?
Not as well as you, but better. I'm at least
You're a physician's assistant. You got to know how to do this stuff.
I know how to do it. The problem is, like, just before the show, I made myself a big cup of espresso. I don't think that's compatible with the diet, but for the most part, I eat well. Yes.
This looks like it could be a mixed drink. This is a stevia soda pop.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's this is orange mango and sweetened with stevia, and I've gotten addicted to it.
I got to try that.
You can get them at Whole Foods.
Yeah, but I've been really good about my fruits, my vegetables, trying to put more emphasis on plant-based diet.
Oh, I think that's great.
But I still have chicken and turkey and still
remove
like cheese.
the skin. The cheese is the big no-no.
I know. You've told me that already.
Fatty.
I've got to give it up. Yeah.
Well, I had cheese today. So like my thing is I have it 3 times a week.
Yeah.
As opposed to every day.
Well, I think you have always emphasized that. It's okay to have things in moderation.
Right.
Treat yourself.
But I had cheese enchiladas today. Because I wanted to get my rice and beans in.
Mm-hmm.
And white rice.
Combine your proteins.
Occasionally, yeah. And I'm not going to eat meat, but I do occasionally have cheese. I am Northern European. I'm half British.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, so we tend to be able to tolerate it, but it's still fat. So my thing is to keep my cholesterol and saturated fats down. So I thought, when was the last time I had cheese? Okay, I've only had it once in a week, so I can afford to have it.
You can definitely afford it.
So I think I'm fine. So who do we have here? Let's go.
Well, who do we have here?
Yeah.
And I just realized I forgot to get my glasses, my reading glasses here. So let's see how well I do.
You're the designated driver. What are we going to do?
Just reading glasses. I can read this. I have contact lenses, but they're multifocal. And sometimes I can't go from one to the other quickly enough. That's why sometimes you see me squinting and mispronouncing names here. But anyway, Contessa Bless. And of course, our wonderful Joel Tilson is here. And let me scroll down a little further. 2012 Cheetah. We have Renee Ament, X4H. Hi there. Anna Martinez.
Oh, hello, Anna.
Paperback Writer 123. I always
Hi,
like that name.
paperback writer.
I love writers. Let's see here. Gigi Parderlord. Did I say that right? Joyce Petrus, my good friend. Hi, Joyce. Thank you for joining. Let's see here. I'm trying not to repeat names. Let me keep scrolling down here. I'm seeing a lot of the same ones here. TFL 1947. Let's see here. Rockin' Pony Lady. Whoa, another name I like there.
Well,
Sheila Davidson, 7475. Yes.
Awesome. Well, we can keep saying hi to people as we go along. And as many of you know, Chuck and I have started a Book of the Month club. And the book we have chosen this month is called Maybe Next Time Around. And it is written by Sylvia Sullivan, and it is about the many lifetimes of a single soul. And of course, we also believe that you could be in parallel universes. There's a part of you that could be living in France right now as a little French girl. And there's another part of you that could be a New Zealand farmer. So it's not just one conscious self. It could be multiple conscious selves as we go higher and higher into higher consciousnesses. But she wrote a book about it, and it's based on a true story. So I'm really looking forward to. I need to contact her and let her know that we want her to come in for an interview.
I have it downloaded on my iPad on my Kindle app, and I was trying to find a Kindle app so I could hold my iPad up, but I do have the book. I'm looking forward to it. This is a subject that I'm very, very fond of.
Yeah, I'm very fond of it too. I'm excited. So let's get right into it. As many people know, there are rumors swirling that Trump's health is becoming, he can no longer hide it. You all, may also know that in mid-July, I did some trance work for people, and I heard a very distinct voice. I don't usually hear voices. I'm not a schizophrenic, but I am a remote viewer, that he would be out of office in 5 months.
Yes. That's been coming through clearly.
That was 6 weeks ago. So we're now talking about 3.5 months later, and we're starting, and then it was released that he had chronic venous insufficiency, and now rumors based on his symptoms are that he also has congestive heart failure and probably kidney disease. And now there are rumors that in addition to all of that, he may also be being treated for cancer.
I hadn't heard that about the cancer part.
Well, it looks like a port, a port. Some of these ports that go in the hand, and some of them are for IV blood thinners. But it's the same thing that Queen Elizabeth had when Elizabeth.
Yes. In fact, there's a picture that's floating around on the internet right now, a side-by-side comparison of Trump's hand and Queen Elizabeth 2 days before she passed away. Exact same bruise on the hands.
Well, she had, what an amazing dedication she had to service. I think
my goodness. She was seeing her newest prime minister 2 days before she died.
And the interesting,
right up to the end.
Right. And what's interesting is that prime minister didn't last very long.
No, I don't know if she made it past 10 weeks even.
Well, she had a no contest, which was kind of, let me see if I can get the photograph up for people. I've got so many things open here. I'm going to have to close a couple things. Now, she had bone cancer. Is that correct?
Yes, she did. That is correct.
Okay.
In fact, she had to curtail a lot of her activities toward the end. They called it, quote unquote, mobility issues. But there was one video of her where she was standing in place and she said, "I can't walk, I can't move. You'll have to come over to me." So she was having a lot of problems. And her health started to deteriorate rapidly after Prince Philip died. And I think she also had a bout with COVID, didn't she? Wasn't she hospitalized?
It's possible, but you can see that bruising on the hands, the fragility, probably being given prednisone, I would imagine, and that would have caused thinning of the skin. But she also may have been receiving IV treatments through a port, and if her skin was fragile because of prednisone,
Yeah.
then that would also explain age, prednisone, and if she was having a port. So
Yeah.
that's basically what's going on with the comparisons between
Yeah.
Elizabeth and Trump.
Donald Trump.
Well,
And
it's also the right hand,
yeah.
and he was attempting to cover it up.
Yes, well, very badly too. The man is just not good with makeup. Let's face it. But it looked like he took latex house paint and just painted the top of his hand. It was that bad. But, reporters have been commenting about how for a long time now, at least for the last few weeks, he's been taking one hand and conspicuously covering the bad hand. But now, didn't you say he's got bruises on both hands now?
Yeah, which would make sense because if he's getting a port and if he's bruising and they're having trouble getting a vein, then they
Yeah.
might switch hands.
That's what I was thinking.
So people were commenting that he now, if you're comparing the two individuals, also you can see the entrance point is right around in this area here.
Oh, yes.
Is right around. You see the discoloration is a little bit different.
It's bad.
So they're probably right around here is where he's getting the IV.
You know something, Whimsy? I'm looking, maybe it's the lighting on his fingernails, but even the discoloration does not look healthy.
Yeah, there's something else we see. Are you talking about here? You're just seeing poor circulation?
Well, I'm seeing there like his fingernails or his thumbs. Maybe it's just the way the light is hitting, but that just does not look healthy.
Right. This is one of the things also that you and I've talked about in terms of just physically being able to diagnose a patient based on physical symptoms. And one of the things that we do is we look at good for catching that, Chuck. See, this is why I hired you, because you catch everything. But you can see that glossy white look and the flaking of the nail bed, and the line of the nail bed is a sign of sickness. But if you're having poor oxygen, you'll see a curvature. You'll see that the fingers start to curve a little bit, and he doesn't have that yet. So I'm not seeing COPD here with these hands, but I am starting to see what looks like possibly poor nutrition and calcification might be.
Yeah. Do you think even fungus?
No,
deterioration of his immune system.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a fungus. I think that he does he used to professionally have them polished, but that's not what this looks like.
That's why I initially thought, could that be nail polish, or the lighting? But it isn't.
No, a lot. I mean, it's not as weird as it sounds. Anybody who's lived in New York.
Oh, I know that. No, men get manicures and often will have like a clear coat or something, so.
Well, I mean, I think there was some footage of him and his club having someone come in and do it while he was at work. So the people will come and buff. But the mafiosa does that a lot, like if you saw Sopranos, they were always hitting their nails. And I think it harkens back to that idea of, are you a working man or are you a wealthy aristocrat? Because a wealthy aristocratic man, a gambino who's got the money, he's going to have the polished hands and the soft hands, and he's not going to have those rough hands.
Not going to have a working man's hands.
That's right. So that's what I think. That's what it harkens back to. So I don't know. It's not looking too good, Chuck. What's your feeling about it?
Well, it just seems to tie in with everything you've been predicting it. Others have been predicting it, because you've been saying for quite a while it was going to be health reasons. You saw him eventually being given the quote unquote honor of resigning, toward the end of the year. But I think, you and I have talked about this as intuitives. I sometimes have said out loud, I'm always a little frightened when I see indications of death, and very reluctant to say that out loud, because we're not really allowed to do that. We're not supposed to talk about those things. But privately, I have speculated that. I can't speak for you, but I think you have as well. But we can't say that. And I'm always reluctant to ever say it out loud.
What I feel when I go into the energy is I feel that if the king is weak in any society, that power abhors a vacuum. And so he's weak means that if you are hungry for power and you want to be close to power, you're going to have to pick sides. And there are two sides in this camp that are starting to emerge. There's Trump and Trump's cabinet, and those people who are whispering about that JD Vance is going to be the next president. And that means when you go into it, you get the Five of Wands. You know, the Five of Wands, where you have three people over here fighting and two people over here fighting, that kind of tension that you see in the Five of Wands. And that is really the card I meditate on when I see the situation between Donald Trump's cabinet and JD Vance's cabinet, or JD Vance's people, that we are looking at civil war between those two groups. And I think it's going to escalate the worse this gets, because do they really want to be attached to this sinking ship who's dying and has an approval rating of 38%?
Exactly, especially if he's going to be starting his own administration soon. You don't want to get off on a footing like that. It's a delicate balance. I wonder what is actually going on behind the scenes, because I'm sure JD is very aware. You know, he certainly is. This is probably being discussed quite a bit behind the scenes right now, even though on the record, you know, he has to be on the same page as Trump. You know, he's always been very fiercely loyal to Trump publicly, always presents an image of unity, whether he personally agrees with it or not. It's going to be very interesting to see him become his own man, break away and enforce his own policies, because I don't think he agrees with a lot of this, but he has to play the role.
How long? Look, you and I know, and they know now because they're watching this channel, that is starting to happen between Trump's cabinet and JD Vance, and the intellectuals, the people that think Trump is crazy, that are slithering next to Vance and saying, now's your chance, we take him out. Now, that means there's going to be a division. Why do you think that's going to happen in the cabinet? My feeling is because they want to be part of JD Vance's cabinet, because he's going to have a whole new cabinet, which means I got to kiss JD Vance's ass now if I want to stay in power in the White House.
Well, I know right now JD has primarily his own circle of loyalists, like from Silicon Valley, libertarian circles, the populist right. So that's going on. I think we addressed this a few weeks ago. We did a reading on it. Would JD start out with a fresh new cabinet? I think we both got it would be a mixture. Like there would be a few holdovers he would keep, but I think he will take charge and be his own man.
Is he going to be a lame duck, or is he going to have to make concessions to get reelected? Because I think it's a done deal that they are going to Trump is looking like a raggedy duck underwater. Trump the duck under the ugly duckling. So I think that it's not going to be long between the wolves are coming out, the knives are out, and they're starting to feed, and they're kissy face with Vance. I think this is probably already happening, and I think it's really going to start to show its ugly head in about 2 to 3 weeks. What do you think?
I think it's going on behind the scenes, but I know whether he actually is a lame duck or not, that's the last thing they want to project to the public. So I'm sure everything is going to be done to counter that. They want JD to come across as an effective president, you know, a clean transition. But I don't think it's going to be that simple. And even Trump, how easily is he going to be willing to let go?
Now, is it true that JD Vance used to be gay officially? Like there was something where he was gay, according to, I think Midas Touch says, make up your mind. Who are you? Because when he was younger, he was like, well, I thought I was gay. Then he got maybe conversion therapy or this. So he's always had that aspect to him. So I guess my question is, if this guy wants to stay in office, he's going to have to become a hell of a lot more liberal than the old guy.
But you know, I'm thinking,
or is he going to have to double down? Well, I'm not gay anymore.
Well,
right? Is that,
I know there's been the speculation for a long time, and
no, I
even
think he publicly said that
oh,
I
he
used
did
to have those
publicly
yeah,
say
it's been
this.
public.
Okay, I didn't really
There's
see it
something,
public.
according to Midas Touch, in his book, he talks something about that, but I
Okay,
don't know. I don't keep up on these things.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know he had actually stated this.
That
I know there.
he's got an identity crisis. His marriage is in trouble.
Well, what's interesting, if you will recall, several weeks ago in a reading, you got that he identifies as being female.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He presents as female.
yeah,
So does
presents as
Lindsey
female.
Graham, which is just like it just makes me feel like people who hate themselves often suppress the best part of themselves. Like
True.
Lindsey Graham sees herself as a Southern belle who clutches her pearls and thinks everyone should be nice, and she has her bridge games, and she loves to collect her knicknacks. Everybody knows about his
I'm
collection
thinking
of
of Blanche Devereaux.
There was Al Franken was making a joke. They had a very, very nice dinner at at some White House thing, and they had brought out this beautiful antique uh, ceramics, and he had said, "Make sure to watch Lindsey Graham that he doesn't steal anything," because he was just like, because
Yeah.
he is a Southern belle. He is a Southern I guess, is a Southern belle, and my God, that's pretty. I'm taking that home. And loves the finer things in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, like, I would love to hang out with her. She sounds like a blast. But this bozo in the Senate, who the heck wants? And it's probably true for J.D. Vance also. When he
Yeah.
was ambiguous and exploring his sexuality, he was a young guy and was
Yeah.
exploring dresses and things. I bet he was a hell of a lot of fun to hang out with.
Oh,
Not this
probably so.
bozo.
Well, I mean, we're certainly not impugning anyone for being gay or transsexual. That's not the point. It's more about the hypocrisy involved here and the cover up. We have gotten this in readings in the past that he definitely identifies as being female. And I remember one time I was doing a reading with the cards, and because we were asking about if he was going to be president. This was maybe 3 months ago, I think. And I was getting in my cards that he's very afraid of being president because he's got all of these skeletons, shall we say, in the closet, not to make a pun, but he's got all these skeletons and all this in his past. And all of that is going to come up when he's president. There's no way it won't. So he's very fearful of his reputation, fearful of embarrassing his wife, his family. It's going to be a lot of shame. I think he's afraid of that.
Well, I think, there's a lot going on. I honestly don't even know if this guy wants to be, if this guy even wants to be the president.
Well, we were getting a while back that he did not. He was just feeling completely overwhelmed. Now, we know that energy changes. So maybe if we were to read on it now, we might get a different answer. But that's what we got the last time we looked into it. He's very fearful of being president. He knows he's not qualified to be president. It's way over his head.
Yeah, and I don't think his heart is in it.
No, I don't think so either.
All right. To change the topic, I'll give you guys a hint. Go into the chapel and we're gonna get married. Go into the chapel of love.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going on in the news that would make me sing that?
Well, Taylor Swift and
Ooh.
Travis Kelce. I think it's great.
What kind of contract do you think he's going to have to sign?
Oh, I think a lot of us thought the same thing. What kind of prenup are they going to have? I mean, they're both power players in their own right, but she is a lot wealthier than he is. I mean, she's a billionaire.
She was attracted to his ethics, because for a long time when I would do remotes with her, I'm like, any future between you and Kelsey? She would say, we will see. She was very like, we will see.
She took her time with this, 2 years of dating.
Well, he was a good old boy, and I think he drank a little too much for her liking. But his ethics, and when he came out in support of Harris, You know, he said,
Yeah.
he said with her, let's watch the debates before we come out. And then he publicly came out in support of Harris. So
Mhm.
she wanted him to prove himself ethically, and he did. You know, he's a registered Democrat now. So look at that. You can come in, you're a registered Democrat. You know, like that's what that message is. But I don't know. What are you thinking? You wishing him all the
I
best?
don't know. I was just curious what his net worth is. You know, I know she's a billionaire. But he's got to be wealthy in his own right. So I don't know what kind of prenup they would do. But I think they're beautiful together. They seem genuinely happy. They took their time about this, and even President Trump said nice things about them.
Yeah.
Something about how they're wonderful people or something, and he was denouncing Taylor Swift because she supported Harris.
I love this comment by Paperback Writer. I have always depended upon the kindness of strangers.
Yeah.
I think that's her Lindsey Graham imitation. That was mighty fine. Thank you so much for that donation. Yeah, appreciate it. I think we had another one too somewhere back here.
Yeah.
My apologies to the person if I didn't give them gratitude.
I wonder when the wedding is.
I don't know, but like my first thought when I saw this was, does she know what she's doing? And boy, she better have a prenup up the wazoo.
Oh, she's not stupid.
Yeah, no, you don't get to be a billionaire and have that kind of power without having some brains.
Even the way she reclaimed control of her own music catalog.
Yeah, I think the cats will definitely be at the wedding. All of her cats.
Yes.
She's like us. She's got to have her cats. Well, let's go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer. We'll do a prayer to pray for people and seal the readings. Of course, we always want to create a good energy before we start sneaking around in people's psyches. But if you would like to receive a healing at this time, please go ahead and give us your name or the name of those you love who you would like us to pray for. And I know the group would love to come together at this time and pray for you. So please feel free to join us in the prayers. All right, let's do it. Let's bring in the empath prayer. And if you know the prayer, please join in. And thank you for being here. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say Amen.
Amen.
And for those people today who are requesting a healing for themselves and those they love, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, we say Amen, Amen, Amen. Amen. May all souls be healed.
May all souls be
healed. May all souls be healed. All right, let's see what's going on. So, Chuck, I think that last time we had gotten together, we had talked about whether or not we felt anybody on the other side was able to come through, and
I had a message from Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
Last week I read on the Thursday show. I was actually surprised.
That was very intense. I felt that was very intense because of what she had gone through and the message basically that it's like the McCarthy era all over again.
Because she and Desi both almost lost everything. They almost lost their studio. They employed hundreds of people. They would have lost their careers. They would have lost their home. I Love Lucy would have been canceled after 69 episodes. There would have not even been an I Love Lucy today, that's been playing for almost 75 years now. Everything would have been lost because of an accusation against her, during the McCarthy era, when being called a communist was as bad as being called a murderer or a pedophile. It was the worst. It would destroy you. And Lucy was being used as a pawn because she was so beloved by the people. And the message was from the government that if she's not safe, nobody's safe. And
Very
we can
scary.
go after anyone. And Lucy's message to the people was, if they could do this to me, they can do it to you. So she was gravely serious.
And what about this week? Any messages from anyone?
Well, this week I was actually going to save this because usually we talk about this on our Thursday
I won't
shows.
be here Thursday.
I know that. And I was thinking the week before, but you asked me to try Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I told you I was initially having trouble, because she's a very serious soul. That's no surprise. But what surprised me was how hard she's working on the other side. It's like, the personalities of these people remain the same. They take that with them to the other side. I think that's why some people were confused when Lucy was so stern and direct, because people were expecting bubbly, cute Lucy Ricardo. Lucy was a far more serious woman. But anyway, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, very serious, almost like we've all had those school teachers, very, very serious. They'll admonish you, And I was trying to rush through it on a Saturday night, and she came through and said, look, I'm not talking to you unless I know you're really listening. She was that serious. You better be listening to me before I spend my time on you. And she was even asking, well, okay, how many people watch this show? Is it worth my time? That kind of thing. And then she said she would get back to me. And I didn't hear anything for a while. And I thought, well, that's a little off-putting. But anyway, I had this message. It's on my iPad here. And I tested this over and over. It feels authentic. And she said, first of all, I know you are serious in your pursuit of me because you keep trying and don't give up. This has been a test from me. And I like that quality in people. So she was testing me. It is not easy to just give a simple message that can fit into a few tidy sentences. It is anything but quote unquote tidy. We are in a grave situation, the most dire constitutional crisis in the entire history of the United States. And I don't use those words so carelessly and lightly, like cheap hyperbole, unlike a certain buffoon in office right now. Those were her words. I am fighting with all my might on this side on your behalf. Over here, I am revitalized, re-energized, and back at the peak of my powers. And I assure you, that is considerable. And then she gave me like a little good-natured laugh, and that's considerable. I am saddened, but more importantly, I am angered deeply by what has been emerging. I am also encouraged tremendously by the sheer will of you, the people. I promise that it is making an enormous difference in turning the tide against this fascist regime and coup attempt to hijack our sacred government and the core of democracy. Hold on to your fighting passion. Your numbers are greater, and you are the will of the majority. Once we survive this, and we will, she made me write that in capital letters, and we will, because the alternative is beyond unthinkable. Please cherish and never forget for a moment how delicately fragile democracy and freedom actually is, even though it is your natural birthright. Never take it for granted ever again, as many of us were guilty of doing. And, she's working on the other side. She's working on their side. And this is something she said to me. She said, Richard the Lionheart, Richard the First, I believe, he's working on our behalf right now, crusading for justice. And I asked her about that. And true to form, she said, Chuck, look it up. Read about it yourself. It's like she was saying to me, I'm busy, got to go. So that was my message. It felt authentic to me.
She feels like it's worse now than the Civil War, because I would think the Civil War was the greatest crisis.
Those were her words.
That's terrifying.
She called
So
this the worst. That's
well,
what
this
she
is
said.
another Civil War.
Yeah. And, it's when spirits are on the other side, the reason they can see things so well is because it's kind of like a bird's eye view or a helicopter that's high above. They can see the horizon. They can see everything out in the distance. What's happening, what's coming, what's going. They have a better view of that. But she's very concerned, and she's working hard right now, along with others. And she also hinted to me that she is channeling through to Ketanji Brown Jackson. She sees her as the most logical.
That makes sense.
Well, she sees her as being her most logical successor on the court right now. So she said that she's actually like trying to get through to the other justices, but she especially spends time with her, like when Ketanji is writing a dissertation. What's the word for it? Dissertation, is that correct? Forgive me for my ignorance here, but when she's writing her defense, thank you. She said that she's very much guiding her. That came through.
And I was surprised she gave up on Kavanaugh, who was her mentee when she was on the bench.
She didn't say anything to me about
Kavanaugh.
That.
Actually, she was very close to Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
She was very often close to people like Scalia, who she did not politically agree with, but they loved the opera.
They loved the opera. In fact, their families used to get together at holidays. That's how close they were.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that for this court. It's just so divided. It's just so divided.
She's clear. I got the vibe. She didn't really go into it with me, but I got the vibe that she's very distressed with where the court is right now. But definitely Ketanji is the one that she has the greatest hope for. And also she's young. She has a big future ahead of her. They're very much in agreement.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I wanted to apologize. We ran an hour behind in the show today, which we've never done. It's just that duty called. We were just wrapped up in other stuff. So sorry if people had to wait. We did make an announcement that it was going to be. I mean, I did post it as later. All right. What do we got here?
Who will leave office first? Putin, Trump, Netanyahu. Wow, this is almost like a game show or something,
I'm thinking Trump.
Well, it's not looking good for Trump. We've talked about Putin, like how soon is it going to be before he is sent to Siberia? Netanyahu, I don't know so much.
Well, he's been delaying elections, but he's not going to be able to get a coalition together. I'm hoping unity government, which is compassionate and wants people, Palestinians and Israelis, to come together in unity and build a beautiful place for both people. So that's why I'm into unity. But who do you want to try and?
Let's see. We had a comment here. It's a horse race. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. I wasn't sure how to phrase. I wasn't quite sure how to phrase the question since it's a.
All right.
It's a three-way. But I did ask my pendulum the question: will it be Trump first? I got a big yes on that.
Okay, so it's Trump first. Let me throw some cards on this and see if the cards give me any information on who's going first. I don't see Putin getting any support for this war.
No.
I mean, the only reason why China would want it to keep going is so that they can weaken Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the cards say. 3 months, Hierophant.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot's changing in the next 2.5 to 3 months.
Yeah.
The Queen of Swords, the court's coming in. Look at that fighting. This is why we need to transition quickly. If Trump needs to step down due to Article 25 because he cannot do his duties due to ill health, it needs to happen now, because if not, all hell is going to break loose in D.C. And
like it hasn't already, though.
Well, part of the reason that they want him to leave and to transition quickly in the next couple months I mean, you guys can see he's falling apart. The guy looks
Hmm.
like crap. But
Literally before our eyes. Yeah.
well, I love when I get it right.
You're damn good, Whimsy.
Yeah, thanks. Because but if this is what it's like now, um,
Yeah.
if this is now, where is he going to be in 3 months?
Gee.
You know,
And that would put it at close to December, like you were saying a few weeks ago.
do you have any empathy at all?
Uh, I have empathy. I'm a deeply empathetic person, but I just look at the horror of Donald Trump and what he has done to our country and to the world. He needs to go. Now, I'm not saying he needs to die, but he just needs to go.
Well, the
Whatever
cards
it's
are
going to
basically
take.
saying that if he becomes increasingly weak in public, then it's going to create a lot of 501s, and
Yeah.
defending so they want to establish, nope, everything's fine in DC,
Yeah.
daddy's home, that sort of crappy
Hmm.
stuff. And so they want this guy gone, and now it's Vance, and the ship is not going to sink. And so this desire to send a message that the ship is not going to sink is the thing that I think is going to push them to want to get Trump out of there before he falls
Sure.
apart too much more. You can't come back from 38%. And really, why do they need him for? It's not like he can be
Yeah,
reelected.
I think he is looked at as an obsolete old man right now. They've extracted everything they can get out of him. Trump has always thrown people under the bus. He's done that for decades. Now it's about to happen to him, I think.
Yeah.
But, I've said that in my own readings. I'm so sorry. I know you want to put a question,
Go
but
ahead.
I've got that in my own readings that I've been feeling strongly. It's going to be internal. It's going to be an internal job.
Yeah.
I didn't mean necessarily an assassination, but just it's his own people are stabbing him in the back. They're going to throw him under the bus.
So if he refuses to leave under Article 25, then at that point the Senate would move quickly towards impeachment and removal. Is that correct? So
I
that's
believe
why
that's correct.
Lindsey
Yes.
Graham has to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
You know what bothers me about the vision I had of Lindsey Graham? I had a vision, I think it was 6-7 years ago, of Lindsey Graham sitting with Donald Trump and saying, Mr. President, the duty has fallen on me to inform you that we have reached a consensus in the Senate. We give you the honor of resigning.
I think I remember you telling me
And
that person.
then he left and it didn't happen. And I don't talk like that. I don't even know how I would form words like that. But and then it didn't happen. I thought, well, that must have been just a dream. And then he was back again. And now this is happening. I'm like, oh my God, Lindsey Graham. And it disturbed me because it brings up the question, do we have free choice? Because it's very obvious, given that nobody in the Senate wants to talk to this president, that it's going to have to fall on Lindsey Graham.
Well, we know about Trump's ego, his need to put up fronts and facades, and this is a dignified way for him to leave, especially with the Epstein files and everything. This is a way for him
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, you forgot about that. Boy, his distractions are working.
Carol rape situation.
Yeah, but I think
and all the other horrible stuff.
This is actually very compassionate for Donald Trump, more than he ever deserves, to give him the quote unquote honor of resigning with dignity. And I felt like when the doctors were so honest a few weeks ago, because it used to be, this is the healthiest president in the history of the United States.
That honest. They lied about the cause of the edema.
But they were more honest than they've ever been. And they flat out called him obese. That's never happened before. And I said to you then, I feel like we're going to get more medical reports. It's like that was the introduction to pave the way, over the coming 2 or 3 months as Trump's health deteriorates. We're going to probably see more medical reports bracing us for the inevitable resignation.
But I think that they've intentionally lied to the American people and said that his hand looks like this because he's been shaking people's hands.
Yes, and aspirin and shaking too many hands. Oh, come on.
How many Americans take a baby aspirin before bed and they don't have hands that look like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how many hands does he actually shake?
So I don't think that they've been honest at all.
No, but I think they've been paving the way. That's what I mean. Because it used to be they would embellish these medical reports to the point of it was obvious Trump was even writing them himself.
The healthiest man in the history of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what does Joel say?
So anyway, Joel Tilson, doesn't Putin realize how bad the situation is in Russia? His oil and gas infrastructure being destroyed and dismantled by Ukraine's military? He probably does.
Don't you think that a narcissist is never going to give up? That a narcissist is just going to double down?
Probably. I used to work with a narcissist. You knew her. I won't mention her name, but she was my manager.
But then it got replaced with me, so that was.
Well, actually, not with you. You were always nice, Whimsy.
No, but I mean, she left and then I came in soon after that, right?
Yeah, but you knew her. I won't mention her name. But my point being, I have had close contact with this type of behavior, and I recognize the patterns. And I also recognize the extreme denial these people are in. They're in their own delusions. They like a pathological liar. They believe what they say. It's like through sheer will, they're going to make it real.
Did she get fired? I'm just curious.
Oh,
Eventually, you guys got rid of her. I know that people were left with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oh yeah, there were people who had to go into therapy because of her. She was telling customers that I had Alzheimer's and to not listen to anything I had to say. I could have sued over that.
He got a 98% on
thank you. Thank you.
On his certification.
But she was literally telling customers.
That's pretty good for somebody with Alzheimer's.
Yes, it is.
To become a physician's assistant and graduate with a
if I
98%.
had sued her, I would have had you testify for me.
And you were an older student when you took that exam. So.
Old, yes. Oh.
All right. But yeah, you did very well. You did very well.
Thank you.
All right.
I had a brilliant teacher. That's why. Well, yeah, it's the truth. Okay. Will courts stop Trump from sending states' National Guard to blue cities? I hope to God so. What he's doing is highly unconstitutional. Like what the governor of Illinois said, the mayor of Baltimore, what Gavin Newsom has said, Karen Bass. It's like, we don't want you sending troops to our cities. You're inventing a crisis. Most of these cities, crime is at an all-time low.
Let's take a look. Let's see what's going to be happening with the courts on that. Let's throw some cards on that. Oh, I think that's a legitimate thing to look at.
I just got a good card right here. I think it's going to be good. And you hear me go, oh, it's because my first card's truth. The truth is going to come to the surface. New life, victory. Yeah, I think it's going to be, the courts are going to prevail here, or something is going to prevail to stop this madness.
Well, the real reason Americans are afraid of immigrants?
Why?
Because they make us look bad.
Mm-hmm.
They've done research on like the Korean immigrants and different populations that came into, Los Angeles. And within 1 or 2 generations, they were doing better than the people that were born here.
That's true.
Are we just lazy Americans?
Well, I do know.
We're born in America.
We're talking some very hardworking people.
Yeah, we don't do as well as the immigrants. And the immigrant mindset, there's a money-saving channel, a Sikh man put it together. It's called, I think it's called The Immigrant Mindset, and about how they live together in one house. No, you don't live in separate houses. You're spreading the wealth out too far. No, we live together. Then we buy the house for the first child. Then he works. Then we buy for the second child. You keep the money in the family. And like, oh, we don't think like this. It's just everybody leave. It's like everything you're supposed to do in America, we do it the opposite, and so we never have any money.
I was just going to say that most immigrants I have personally known are passionate about being here. They had to go through a lot to come here.
Yeah, passionate, but also that they end up doing better than most.
They want to succeed here. They come here with the idea, this is the land of the free. This is where you go to pursue your dreams.
When I was in pre-med, I wound up in the dorms with the medical students, the pre-med from China, Laos, Vietnam, that were here on scholarship. They were invited under the Clinton administration.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I think they thought they put me there because I was registered as an Israeli. So they thought that I was a foreign student. So I wound up in the foreign student, even though I was born in America. I became Israeli too. So I think that they thought I was Israeli. So we were all immigrants, and they got me through med school. They got me up and ready for pre-med, but I would smell the strangest things in the kitchen, and it was fish sauce. I didn't know the smell of fish sauce from the Laos and Vietnamese cooking, but they would all cook together. They would put their money together, and they would buy rice and bok choy, and they would eat together and study together. And it was always, we work now, we work now, we work now. And I got in with that group when we would have to present for anything like in cadaver dissection, any of that stuff. I would go with that group, and it was like, we work now. It was like I'm in a freaking Chinese work camp.
But it got you through med school, you know?
It did. And I'm very grateful. But I think if I'd been out on my own, it was like chicken wings tonight. Woo, let's go have chicken wings. So chicken wings, we don't have money for chicken wings. It's bok choy and rice and tofu and you walk now. You walk now. And God, they were.
And I know you well enough to know that's true.
Yeah, and you know that what's interesting is that when you work in a group like that, they were working in a group. They would rely on each other, but you know what they did? They started bringing bodies back home of the animals when we were doing animal dissection. They would sneak it out of the lab, and so I'd be opening the refrigerator. And there would be like some dead frog, you know, or a dead cat or whatever, all wrapped up. And I'd be like, what are you guys doing? We walk. We wake up at 5 a.m. and we play with dissected cat, because they did. And it's better not get into my milk. Nah, it's swapped up. You okay? But they did that because they would have shamed their families back in China or Cambodia or wherever if they hadn't been the top 1%. And boy, what a blessing for me to be in that, that group.
It's good to hang around people like that.
Yeah, it really got me. It got me to be in the top. You know, I graduated with a 3.7 and I felt like such a loser. Like, I got a 3.7. Well, it dropped because I took a low grade in my 2 weakest subjects was my final quarter of organic chemistry and my and physics. That dropped my degree.
Well, I
got all A's in anthropology.
I found sometimes when I was in college, I had such an overload of things by the end of the semester, exams to take, projects, and you had to give priority to certain things. And I had to let a few things slide like that.
Yeah.
And take a lower grade.
So we had a question about, to go back, would there be a response from the courts? What did you get, Chuck?
Well, I was getting the truth is coming to surface, new life, victory. And I feel that, the courts are going to step in.
Yeah.
This is so unconstitutional what he's doing.
Yeah, I feel that Trump is going to have to let stuff go. It's interesting that it's going back to the old ways. And then the opposition, Trump presented as 4 of Cups. You know, he is like the sulking child when the courts come in and stop him. But I want it. I don't want to do this. I want to do it that way. And then the sun comes out. What's interesting is that Trump, I'm telling you, a lot of health problems can just.
Whoa.
Yeah, 3 of swords. There he is again with that.
Swords for the heart. Yeah.
You know, he's dragging that right leg and everyone's talking about it now. I feel like there was an incision.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been.
And it hurts. And that's why he keeps swinging his right leg away from his pants, not to rub against his pants. And that's why. And then he has to correct and go the other way. And so, this is
I even saw a video of him. I think it was when he was getting off the plane in Alaska and they speeded up the video. So it accentuated all of the swaying
Yeah,
back and
it's
forth.
because I don't want my right leg to rub. It hurts like I had an incision, or it's still, the wound is not totally healed.
Yeah. Now, one video I saw, the commentator said that that could also be signs of dementia, Alzheimer's.
Well, it's true that you can lose proprioception and awareness of where you are in space, like where my body is.
Yeah, equilibrium.
And that could be one of the things we test for. I think we went through neurological testing in my office, right? We had why I use some of those things to test.
Yeah.
And we'll have a person touch their nose like this, or sometimes people will go like this. They really won't be able to find their nose. So that ability to know where you are in space, that can be a breakdown. He could have also been on medications of some type. So we just don't know.
It could be a perfect storm of several elements coming together. How will the Ukraine war end?
What are you thinking?
Well,
I think they're going to have to leave.
Well, I think it's going to be very interesting once Putin and Trump are out of the picture. That in itself is going to be interesting. Now, where, how, when, I don't know. I'll just start with cards here.
Let's see what we get here.
Well, I don't know if I'm getting enough specifics here, but I like my last card here. Certainly right now, it's like a tug of war, competition with all of, Putin, Trump, everything going on right now.
I got the same card.
Yeah, really? That's interesting. But I
similar.
am getting like there's going to be balancing business epiphany. I mean, all of the European world leaders, everybody coming together. Ultimately, I feel good about this. I got bravado, meaning, yeah, it's going to emerge victorious. But when, how, I know I don't have specifics. Your cards probably are much better for that.
It feels to me like people just stop following orders, and that the people say we're done, because you have this fool's card, and then you also have this rumors that people are just walking off the front. They're killing their leaders. He's not going to be able to get people to fight anymore. And you also have Ukraine, the happy family. And then this is the fighting, that tug of war you saw. It comes to an end. I think people are just not going to fight anymore. You can't make us.
Yeah.
It just feels to me like people are done.
It also occurred to me that bravado card could be Zelensky. That could be the European world leaders in his core. It's like you said, we're not going to go for this anymore. It's got to stop. That, to me, that's bravado right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Miller, the Shadow POTUS, what a wingnut he is.
Wow. Well,
either that or Peter Thiel would be the guy that I would think would be on the cabinet when J.D. Vance becomes president. That was what Renee pointed out.
Yeah. Let's see. Renee pointed out, I think it's Peter, the guy who backed J.D. He owns... Oh, wait. Oh, it disappeared. Trump, the de facto ruler in Washington, D.C. Is Trump the de facto ruler in Washington, D.C.?
Or are we talking about, I think he's influenced by a lot of people, but I do know that Putin is not happy with him right now.
Oh, no. I get the feeling Trump is more of a figurehead for a lot of people, like a puppet.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is an interesting one, Will. Governor Pritzker, am I saying that correctly? Governor Pritzker stopped Trump from sending troops to Chicago. He was quite impassioned when he spoke. The things he was saying, saying this is flat out unconstitutional. We do not want you. It's the same thing everybody else has been saying. And you're using us as a distraction. another distraction, Epstein files, everything else going on. I guess Trump is even now having to distract from his poor health because Trump wants to give this image that he is invincible. And it's going to be harder and harder to keep that facade up. But will he stop Trump? I don't know if it's going to be, he's going to be able to do it single-handedly. It might also be the courts stepping in.
Let's
but
take a look.
Okay, I'm going to say yes or no. Will Governor Pritzker stop Trump from? Okay, I'm getting a yes on that, but I was also getting the feeling that he's not going to do it single-handedly. But what do you have, Whimsy?
Well, people are just very angry, and I feel that it's the final blow for the people. I think that they just feel that this has gotten ridiculous. They don't need this stupid display of power. They need the grocery prices to come down.
Yeah.
They need the trade wars to end. God, like how much it makes you wonder how much free choice there is that we saw this 7 years ago and nothing changed. Like, do people just not have any free choice at all?
Well,
I mean, I'm kind of like left wondering if there is free choice because of what's happening now with the president probably having to resign because of health. And it's just kind of like, well, damn, is free choice a lie? I mean, I honestly don't know.
I feel it's not in a good place right now. That's for certain. But you've been getting some optimistic readings. I'm so sorry.
This was what I was going to point out was the tower coming in. So it's like all hell's going to break loose in Chicago if they attempt to go to Chicago. It's not. I see this turning into a violent race. They're going to create a backlash because people are just done.
Yeah,
with this lunatic.
Well, and Trump is also. I'm so sorry. Trying to turn my phone off there. So sorry about that. Trump is also threatening Baltimore, sending troops there, saying
for the love of God.
He's threatening to rescind government funding for the rebuilding of the bridge that was destroyed. And I think was it the governor or it was the mayor of Baltimore who had invited Trump to come there, said, why don't you just take a walk through our city and see for yourself? It's not this dangerous mecca of crime you're claiming it to be. And Trump said, well, he spoke to me in a very nasty tone or something. And
what is this?
Yeah. And then I understand the mayor of Baltimore was a decorated war hero in Afghanistan. He was awarded the Bronze Star, and Trump was implying that he was lying about ever getting the Bronze Star. And the mayor of Baltimore countered with, oh, really, President Bone Spurs? Is it true you had a medical deferment from the Vietnam War? So they've been countering back and forth like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what Web Shiva says.
Okay, another theory on Trump's health. Congestive heart failure caused edema, which was treated via stronger and stronger IV meds, which caused the bruising and eventually caused kidney failure. Yeah, I've seen that. There's
but I think he's also on prednisone, I think not prednisone. I think he's got to be on blood thinners because when you get that sort of bleeding in the interstitial tissue like that, it's it could be both, but I'm thinking more blood thinners in addition. I think he had a heart attack. I think that could be the explanation for why we saw ambulances at Mar-a-Lago. And I think that he most likely had stents placed, and that would and I think he's had slow healing where the stents were placed on the right leg, and I think that's causing him to drag the right leg, based on just where my remotes were now, where this is going, and I think that's what happened. And now, because I couldn't figure out why I felt that pinch, it pinches, it hurts, it burns. It burns and it pinches where they put the catheter. I mean, when they went up into that femoral artery, and then the incision point didn't heal all the way. And then I'm up and I got to walk around with this thing burning and rubbing up against my pant leg.
Yeah.
So that's how and my healing time is probably slow because I probably have diabetes, I would think.
Yeah. Well, with that diet.
Yeah. And
that would be no surprise.
And so he's got to, so I think that I'm going to prove it to everybody. And if you're doing amphetamines and you're that age and you're obese and you're not having a heart attack, come on. That's how do you have a heart attack? Mix a little amphetamines, a little
Mm-hmm.
cocaine, a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
trans fats, overeat with all that
KFC,
sugar and oh
McDonald's.
my God.
Doesn't he even have a button at his desk for Coca-Cola? Like he just
Probably.
drinks Coca-Cola throughout the day.
Yeah, and caffeine is also terrible for the
Of
heart.
course it is.
A
And all the
small
sugar.
amount is one thing, but in somebody with congestive heart failure, you pull the coffee. You don't give them stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just
I just get the energetic feel. He's getting tired. He's exhausted. And his whole lifetime he's done stimulants. We've suspected he does meth, he does cocaine. That's been documented by people who have worked with him and have known him. I'm trying to think of some other things he allegedly has done, but I don't see him changing his lifestyle. He's too stubborn.
well, I
He's
mean,
too
like
delusional.
this is an evolved group. I mean, they're talking about food here. Soy chorizo with eggs, hash browns this morning. It was delicious.
I could go for that right
Yeah,
now.
just changing up a little bit, that would be an example. He's still enjoying his eggs and hash browns, but he's just pulling some of the fats out of the diet. Even if you make small changes, 0 orange cream Coke, that sounds pretty tasty. I mean, I just wish they would come up with a healthier sweetener.
Yeah. Oh, well, stevia. How do you feel about stevia?
Oh, stevia is safe.
I
If
love stevia.
people
I use it all
react
the
if they
time.
have SIBO because it does feed the bacteria in the gut. So see if you're having a reaction to it. Tina is on Protein and Greens by Paradise. Very good, very good, very
Yeah.
good. We got somebody here having squash enchiladas. Doesn't that sound amazing?
Yeah, I
That's
haven't
what
had
I
dinner
had for
yet.
dinner tonight. I had enchiladas for dinner
I
tonight.
haven't eaten yet, so this is making me hungry.
Well, you've got some great Mexican places. Why don't you go get yourself some enchiladas? That would be rice and beans.
Well, that's a possibility, but
And you could have it with chicken or you could have it with chicken, or you could do cheese, depending if you feel like. Well, to only have I have cheese about 3 times a week. I haven't
Yeah.
given it up. It's just not the main protein source. The main protein source is, but I went too far. I was having too much fiber in my diet, and I was like getting sick. And I was like, okay, today I'm doing a lower fiber. So when that happens, I pull back from my fiber, and I'll have a little bit of animal product. My body lets me know.
Well, you're very in tune to your body as you would be anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, a quote from William Shakespeare. What a terrible era in which idiots govern the blind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone made a comment, maybe Trump's ear didn't grow back fast enough or something. There's also a lot of stuff I'm seeing now on the social media, internet, people doubting that he was ever really shot.
Oh, no, he was shot. It's just that it heals very quickly. The ear is very vascular.
But because I have known stunt people, work in movies and television, you can take a little capsule, what they call a blood capsule, and like smack it against your ear. So there has been the speculation of that, but you definitely feel he was shot.
Oh yeah, he was.
Okay. Susan Hernandez, I'm on blood thinners and 70 years old. Both my hands are bruised on top. You can just barely hit my hands and arm. I bruise. I have PVD in my legs.
Yeah.
From Raymond Di Pasquale, there is but one thing of real value: to cultivate truth and justice, and to live without anger in the midst of lying and unjust men.
Yes.
Good quote.
Well, did you have fun today, my love?
I had fun. We started late, but I'm glad we made it on here.
I was running, and I was like, I gotta get these herbal formulas.
Oh, I know.
Well,
as your assistant, I see your schedule, and I'm like, oh my God, how is
fault.
Whimsy doing all of this? You're
your
invincible.
fault.
It's my fault.
You made my schedule.
Am I doing this for you? To you, I should say.
I pay you to do that to me.
Anyway, you're leaving early tomorrow?
5 in the morning, and I love it
Oh.
because it's fantastic because I'm a little bit groggy, and I bring like a peanut butter and jelly, and
Yeah.
then I do have coffee, and then I fall asleep, and I'm going to wake up in Houston, and that's exactly how, and I end up feeling great because I've had a nice sleep on the plane. So I
I know
actually
that airport.
I really enjoy getting up early, and well, the flight leaves at 7 a.m. So, but that's perfect for me. I love it.
How long will it take you to arrive?
I think it's
in
4.5
Guatemala?
hours to Houston, and then it's a 1.5 hour turnaround, and then a couple of hours to get to. I'll be in Guatemala at 4 o'clock.
I'm excited for
I'm
you.
excited, and I will be visiting indigenous healers in the Mayan tradition and studying their herbs. I'm you know what I'm doing. I'm there to study the herbs as
Yeah.
usual. That's Whimsy for you.
That's you. But
An old dog can't change her trick. It's all about the herbs with me and the medicine
is
and
your
the
passion.
prayers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just praying. You know, if you look at shamans, sometimes they just pray that this person get well. And what is your illness? And they go to their helpers and to God, and that you get well. And just a prayer can do wonders for those who are
Yes.
not feeling well. And that's why we include that in our show every day.
It's very powerful.
Well, what about you? What are you going to do? You have a week off. You don't have to make any calls if you don't want to. You know you don't have to call this coming week.
I don't have to call this week.
No,
I was
you have
going
a week off. We start.
to make calls for you,
we
but
start season 4 when I get back.
well,
If
what
that
I'm
doesn't
going to
make you feel old, I don't know what does.
maybe itty bitty little bit. No, actually, it makes me feel young and invigorated. I love doing this alongside you, Whimsy, and I'm so appreciative of everybody out there. But I will be taking this week. I have a commissioned canvas painting I have to finish, and I'm going to be working more on my oracle cards. That'll probably be the focus of the week. Oh, I am going to see a couple of friends in Palm Springs this weekend.
Make sure and catch some of the movies that are out. I hear there's a couple good movies that are out.
I want to see that remake of the War of the Roses. They
Yeah,
just calling it the Roses.
And then there's another one that's coming out too, but I don't know if it's going to be available until Christmas. Something that I was excited to see. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, sure. But this has Olivia Colman and Benedict.
Oh, I love her.
I love her too. I love her
how
too.
Exciting. Well, be sure and tell us how it was. If people want to contact you for a tarot reading or a medical consultation, how do they do that?
You can see my name right there. It's just DransfieldChuck, one word, @gmail.com. And it's my pleasure. I've done a reading.
And since I won't be available for a week, please take advantage of Chuck because he's really good.
I love it. I love being of service to people.
I know you do
too.
All right. I will be seeing patients after September 5th. So September 5th onward, I'll be seeing patients. So if you need to see me, you can contact me through Booksy. And that information is below the video. Okay, we're out of here.
Okay, we're out of here.
Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And be well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you very much.
Bye.
Bye.